Zarathea pressed her elongated fingers against the cool metal of the observation deck's railing, her silver eyes reflecting the swirling nebulae beyond. The Concordia station hummed with activity around her, a testament to the fragile peace between the Galactic Coalition and humanity. Yet peace, she had learned, often came with unexpected prices. The marriage contract is beneficial for both our species, her father, Ambassador Veltar, had explained weeks ago. The humans have proven their worth in the war against the Devourers. This union will cement our alliance. But Zarathea knew the truth behind his diplomatic language. The Cathamorians needed human ingenuity and their inexplicable ability to turn impossible situations into victories. Her people were ancient, wise, and technologically superior, but they lacked something the humans possessed in abundance: the audacity to dream beyond the boundaries of logic. She had studied human culture extensively, analyzing their literature, their art, their history of warfare. On paper, they were fascinating creatures. Violent, yes, but also capable of extraordinary compassion. Short-lived, yet they burned with an intensity that could reshape star systems. They were everything the Cathamorians were not, and that terrified her. The soft chime of approaching footsteps made her turn. She expected another diplomatic aide, or perhaps her mother, come to discuss wedding arrangements. Instead, she found herself face to face with a human male, tall by his species standards, with dark hair and curious brown eyes that seemed to hold depths of experience far beyond his apparent age. "You must be Zarathea," he said, offering a slight bow that somehow managed to be respectful without being subservient. "I'm Marcus Chen, well, I suppose fiancé is the appropriate term, though we haven't been properly introduced." She studied him carefully, noting the easy confidence in his stance, the calloused hands that spoke of practical work, the small scar above his left eyebrow. He wasn't what she had expected. The humans she'd encountered in diplomatic settings were either overly formal or aggressively casual. Marcus seemed neither. "You may speak freely," she said, her voice carrying the melodic quality of her native tongue even when speaking standard galactic. "We are, as you say, in this together." Marcus smiled, and something in that expression surprised her. It held no trace of the predatory satisfaction she'd witnessed in other political marriages, nor the resignation she felt herself. Instead, there was a warmth there, genuine and unguarded. "I want you to know," he said, moving to stand beside her at the railing, "that I didn't ask for this arrangement, but I also won't pretend I'm entirely opposed to it." "And why is that?" Zarathea found herself genuinely curious. "Because," Marcus gestured toward the viewport where repair ships moved like glowing insects around a damaged cruiser. "In the past 6 months, I've watched your people save 3 human colonies from devourer attacks. Your medical technology has eliminated diseases that plagued us for centuries. Your engineers have helped us develop shields that actually work against plasma weaponry." He turned to face her directly. "I may not understand the politics behind this marriage, but I understand gratitude." Zarathea blinked slowly, a Kethmorian gesture of surprise. "You speak as if my people are superior." "In many ways you are," Marcus said simply. "Your society has had millions of years to perfect itself. You've achieved a level of harmony and technological advancement that we can barely imagine. But," he paused, his eyes distant, "there's something to be said for chaos, isn't there? For the beautiful mess of growing up fast and making mistakes and somehow finding a way through anyway. Your people fascinate our scholars," Zarathea admitted. "They call humans the paradox species. You are simultaneously the most destructive and most creative force the galaxy has ever seen." Marcus laughed, a sound that surprised her with its genuineness. "That's probably fair. We did manage to weaponize music during the war. The sonic disruptors," Zarathea nodded. "Based on something called death metal, I believe." "Actually, it was my idea," Marcus said, and she detected a note of pride in his voice. "I was an acoustic engineer before the war. Turns out, if you understand harmonics well enough, you can make a devourer's carapace resonate until it shatters." For the first time since the betrothal was announced, Zarathea felt something other than resignation. This human had turned art into warfare, sound into salvation. It was exactly the kind of impossible thinking that had won humanity a place among the stars, despite their late arrival to galactic civilization. "Tell me about your music," she said. Marcus's eyes lit up. "Do you have time? Because that's not really a short conversation." As he spoke, describing the mathematical beauty of Bach's fugues and the emotional power of blues progressions, Zarathea found herself drawn in despite her reservations. He spoke of music the way her people spoke of quantum mechanics, with reverence for underlying patterns and excitement about infinite possibilities. Hours passed unnoticed. Marcus told her about growing up on Earth, about the first time humans had heard Kethamorian crystal harmonies, about his theory that music might be a universal language more fundamental than mathematics. In return, she shared her own passion for xenobiology, her research into the symbiotic relationships that allowed different species to thrive together. "You know what I find most remarkable about humans?" Zarathea said as the station's artificial day cycle began to dim. "You somehow maintain hope even when logic suggests you should despair." Marcus considered this. Maybe it's because we haven't lived long enough to know better. Or maybe... He looked out at the stars, at the mixed fleets of human and alien ships working together. Maybe it's because we've learned that the best solutions usually come from the most unlikely partnerships. Zarathea followed his gaze, seeing the fleet with new eyes. Each ship represented a species that had once stood alone against the darkness. Now they flew together, their combined strengths creating something greater than the sum of their parts. "Perhaps," she said softly, "this arrangement might be more than just political necessity." Marcus turned to her, and in his eyes she saw not the conquest of one species by another, but the possibility of something entirely new, something that combined Kethamorian wisdom with human audacity, ancient knowledge with innovative thinking, harmony with beautiful chaos. "I'd like that," he said simply. As they stood together watching the stars, Zarathea realized that her hesitation was transforming into something else entirely. Not certainty, that would be too human an emotion, but rather a distinctly Kethamorian appreciation for the elegant complexity of unexpected possibilities. The galaxy, she thought, was about to become a far more interesting place.